I'm Kevin Tarpey, and this is散歩日和. While I have often written about long walks far from my home in this column, I have always been a big proponent of the adventures to be had in your own backyard. Wherever I have lived, I often took short walks around my neighborhood. By paying attention to my surroundings, I found that these short walks never got boring because there was always something new to discover. I also enjoyed observing the changes that occurred throughout the different seasons. Walking closer to home is especially great during the hottest months, as it is easy to do early in the morning or later in the day to avoid the worst of the sun. I recently moved to Shinji, so one morning I went for a short walk around the neighborhood. I did not have a specific destination. I just wanted to wander around and get my first impression of my new home. It was quite different from the open spaces of my previous neighborhood. The houses here are closer together, and I found the maze of narrow streets and alleyways quite charming. Despite being situated between Route 9 and the train tracks, it was surprisingly quiet and peaceful. The neighborhood is also home to a large population of swallows. It seemed like a nest had been built on every other building, and the acrobatic birds darted back and forth to feed their young. I crossed over the train tracks, and the scenery became more verdant, reminding me of my old neighborhood in Daito. People were scattered about the valley, weeding the rice fields or tending to their gardens. A handful of egrets and herons stalked the flooded rice fields for prey. One of the things I love most about living in the Sanin region is that bucolic landscapes like this never seem too far away. A few years ago, I bought a macro lens that has significantly enhanced my walks, especially the slow, short ones. A small attachment that clips over the camera lens of my smartphone, it enables me to take much better close-up photos. The macro lens has trained my eyes to look down and scan the ground for budding flowers and insects, since it takes such vivid pictures of them. Additionally, since it magnifies to such a large degree, I often notice things that can't be seen by the naked eye. On my recent morning walk around Shinji, I captured photos of ladybugs, beetles, moths, butterflies, and dragonflies. When I checked the images back home, I even spotted a tiny cricket on a flower that I hadn't noticed when taking the picture. As I walked back to my apartment, I climbed a hill. The temperature had risen all morning, and my forehead was now slick with sweat. On the top of the hill, a soothing breeze cooled me, and I had a wide view of Lake Shinji. I couldn't spot any of the famous Shijimi clam boats, but a few anglers had waded out into the lake to cast their rods. Water has been a prominent feature in many of my former homes, such as the Atlantic Ocean in my hometown of Boston, and most recently, the Aka River in Unnan. However, this is the first time I've lived in such proximity to a lake. I'm looking forward to getting to know the moods of this grand lake throughout the seasons, just as I plan to become more acquainted with my new backyard by taking frequent walks and paying close attention.